Hello everybody, namaskaram, greetings, welcome back. So just to recap on Satan, this is the final installment of this conversation of Satan and how he works or how he rules humanity. Now of course this is a theory, it has to be proven, but there seems a lot of truth in these videos, I think, from a spiritual person and a non-spiritual person, non-religious person, for instance, to see this, that there is, truth where the mind can say, yeah, there's something here that makes sense. And that's why it was important for me to talk about Satan, how he works and how he rules. As they say, it's better the devil you know, right? So it's like it's good knowledge for humanity, and it's good knowledge for everyone as individual people as well. Like we've talked about in that video about how Satan infiltrates, how he rules, and how he controls. He does it through infiltration, and that infiltration is of number one, the mind, because the mind is the processing creative center to make things happen, to realize these desires and temptations. So we talked about that, about how Satan infiltrates. But when we talk about Satan, I'm just using the religious term Satan. Now to other people it might be duality or dark, the opposite to light. So in duality, it's whatever that opposite side is to good, which would be bad in simplest forms. It's not good for you. So people get a grasp on what's this Satan character. Is it a real person? Is it outside of us? No, Satan is not outside of us, or darker duality is not outside of us. It's in all of us, within ourselves, and I think that when we realize that it's not outside of us, that it's inside of us. It's not outside of us, it's inside of us. We can do something about it. We can prevent, we can stop, we can heal and repair our own selves. So yeah, it goes in length about how it infiltrates our systems, and it kind of makes a bit of sense as well in the world about why is it that that things happen that way, where it goes against religion or it goes against justice, and things feel a little bit orchestrated. So this kind of explains how duality infiltrates humanity. So if you want to take out the name Satan, you could say how duality infiltrates and manifests in humanity. That might be a better description for scientists and intellectuals to grasp that better than the word Satan, because that might be a word where that label conjures up different beliefs in the mind. And this topic is not about talking about beliefs, it's about talking from observation, direct observation, and something that can put a little bit of knowledge or wisdom on this issue. So we know that Satan is that one side of duality, and God, the God label, we'll say the religious term I use, God is on the opposite side, right? Good and bad, evil and good, right and wrong, all this, light and dark. So this thing called duality. So this duality, it can't harm you. Satan can't harm you, and Satan's not real. It's just that force of that side of duality that when it comes into us, it comes into us in the form of thoughts, like negative thoughts or temptations, desires, etc. Now, how would we prevent that from happening? Of course, it's important that we have something superior to the mind, so that we can observe it, we can see it within ourselves and take right action. But if we're educated, and if we're just if we just evolve, not to have anything more than the intellect or the the mind. We're vulnerable to temptation and desire, and we all are, including myself. It's duality for you. And and so spirituality is that force of the opposite side of dark, which is a light, represents the light, and it's that force that can help us, observe ourselves, bring light into the situation, prevent dark, knowing right from wrong, all of these things. And you can call it humanity as well, and it kind of delves into that area as well, that, people, have to be human, be humane and all the rest. But, the word spirituality, I think it has a lot more advanced, training and education in it, and knowledge that can help people and help humanity, face off, the vulnerability to dark, as it were. Now, we know in the world that there's karma, and, of course, it's not going to create a completely new utopia or anything like that. Who knows, it might do, but if we use light infiltration, at least we're reducing a lot of the dark, manifestation that mainly humanity has created and brought into this world. Not to say that every bit of dark will be gone. There will be suffering. We can't. There will be suffering from people that are unconscious, people's karma, if they take it the wrong way, etc. But if we use spirituality, we can reduce this suffering within ourselves, and we can stop a lot of dark manifestation from happening in the world. So we talked about it in detail about how Satan infiltrates our systems and plays with our authorities and hiding behind covers of, good labels, and even good intentions, where their intent is even good, but it actually leads to dark. So that's a very complicated one, where a human being, has made a simple strapulation to do something good in terms of genuinely doing something good with good intentions. It turns out to actually be not a good thing. Now, give you an example of that, might be something to do with AI, perhaps, where we intend to do something good, and it turns out to be something that works against us, or something, whatever. You can make up something, or think of something that, you had good intentions in your life, where you tried to do it, had good intentions, but it turned out not to be so good after all. So the mind is limited, definitely limited. And we talked in a fair detail about how it infiltrates our systems and all, but really it's about infiltrating the human being. Duality infiltrating the human being and manifesting, in the human being. That's basically what we're talking about, because it all starts from the person. It all starts from the mind. And if we have a weak mind, or we have a vulnerable mind, and we can identify with temptation, and we would like desire, and when we go too far, and with that, we can get carried away, and things can happen from that, for ourselves and for others. Now, I'm not saying the whole world is run by Satan. This is a theory. It's not infiltrated or run by Satan. But it's a good description. It's a good explanation of why things are the way they are sometimes, and I think it kind of fills that gap in for people out there that want to understand a bit more. Now, of course, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot much more research in depth you can go into this. You can talk about a lot of things, and go in depth about it. But this is the basic, tip of the iceberg of why, to explain to people, why evil or dark happens on planet Earth, when it's unnecessary. It's not our karma, but it just happens. Wars and all the rest. Now, I'm not saying that the world is ruled by Satan, but I'm not saying all the leaders of the world are satanic or anything like that. But when they go too far with something, like like I mentioned, the five things that Satan uses to basically rule humanity. Okay, and these 5 things are power, you know, money, um, dominance, control, ownership. So let's say you're a president, or you're a leader of a country or a nation, or even just an individual person. You're a mom or you're a dad, okay, or a kid. It's okay to have a little bit of power. It's okay to have a little bit of money. It's okay to have a little bit of dominance, a little bit of ownership, and a little bit of control. That's okay. We all need that in our lives so we can get things done. Sometimes we need a little bit of control because we're better equipped at doing a job than someone else, or you need a little bit of dominance. Maybe we're the wife in the house and we need a little bit more dominance to keep the peace, perhaps. Or we need a little bit of ownership to own our own home. But when it's taken to a level of extreme, when it gets it gets identified with where that person wants total control and dominance in the total sense of the word, then it's clearly dark, because they're taking more than they need. Like every nation or every president or country leader, um, yeah, sure, like there's a certain amount that they need, but obviously, and people as well. But like, I think when you get carried away with that, I think it's very satanic. Because you're taking off someone else, you're taking something that's not yours. I would nearly go as far as say that, like, it's like a person, a president, or saying something like, oh, we're taking back the motherland, and we're going to attack, this country or whatever. That is like unnecessary, and it's satanic. Because it's not humane. It has to be satanic because it's not humane. It's very brutish, but that's the way that humans have evolved in the last, I don't know how many generations we've evolved from, but we have evolved in a very brutish way, and I think humanity is now come to a kind of an apex where we kind of need to leave this brutish methodology behind us, because it causes a lot of suffering and a lot of destruction and a lot of danger and harm and all the rest, which is satanic in itself. So that's why we need to say that things have to be used in proportion, and those 5 things that are described, desire, the desire of these things. It's okay to have a little bit of money. Is it okay to be rich? It's fine to be rich. Is it okay to be a billionaire, a trillionaire, but you don't do nothing with it? Probably not. It's probably satanic. If you're doing something for humanity, yeah, it's different. But if you're just a billionaire and you're just there just for the money and that's all, and you're just, I would believe that's a bit satanic. But if you have a greater purpose for humanity and you want to do good in the world, and you're a billionaire, and money is really a concern, but you're not just using your billions to make more billions, and that's all you're about, and you're not really doing anything for humanity. Really, you're just kind of just hoovering up a load of money. That is satanic, because it's an extreme. One of those things I talked about, which was money, and the same with power. A politician might have power, power over his party, or over his department or her department. But if they want total power in the sense of the word, like total power, where they throw out government, and they say, I'm in control of power now. Do you know what I mean? Capitalist, whatever I say happens, and that's the end of be all. That in itself becomes satanic. And the same with ownership. If a country goes to war over, trying to take back land that was theirs 1,000 years ago or something like that, where they have enough in their country, they have enough land. They're not falling out of the borders, are they? They're just dreaming up, oh, we'd like to have more land, or that's ours, ownership. I would say that's satanic. because it's taking more than you need. When you take more than you need, it's satanic. Now it's okay to go indulge and to go a little bit over the top, and to have that comfort and security. That's fine and grand. But if your end all and be all is just to keep taking off the planet, and just keep on doing that one thing, you're really not really going anywhere. You're not evolving. You're just stagnant, and you're just your desire. You're just fulfilling that desire of those five I mentioned. One of those five. Like it's like a dopamine in the brain, isn't it? More power. More money. Um, more dominance. And the ego feels good, or the dopamine chemicals in the brain feels good. And it's kind of related to that too. So it kind of spills out to a lot of areas. This duality. Is it purely just spiritual? Can it be explained by science and technology? Can it be explained by chemicals in the brain, like the dopamine, for instance, things like that? Probably a combination of all these things. So various areas can describe different aspects of how they contribute to that make up this thing called dualism that we have in this world. So I think it was a very good video to talk about. Now, I do hope that I didn't scare my dear readers out there on this topic. It's a very touchy subject, and it's a very mysterious subject, the topic of Satan. So this is clearly from my own observation and my own kind of theory of, how it works and why it happens, and it kind of explains it for me. It explains it for me in a basic way, and I hope for you as well it would help you, give you some insight and give you some understanding upon that, and that the mind is weak, and if we don't teach ourselves and our kids of technologies that are more superior, and intelligence, a new intelligence that is superior to the mind, we're opening those doors to this this inferior dual side, the darker Satan I talked about. But if people are educated correctly and they're conscious enough, and even they do a bit of spirituality, or they may not do any spirituality, that's fine. They may want to, they have wisdom and all the rest. As long as people are conscious, we can we can stop and prevent Satan or dark, or that side of duality. We can reduce it, diminish it a lot in ourselves. Number one, that's where it starts, because then it spreads from ourselves to other people, our family, or departments, authorities, governments, and all the rest. When we see it in ourselves, inside ourselves, not outside ourselves, when we take that responsibility, it's a good thing, and that's a good thing for the world. It's a good thing for you, for your neighbor. It's good for everyone. So don't think that you have to be a complete spiritual practitioner to prevent Satan or this dark side of duality. You just need to have a certain level of consciousness, to be conscious, a certain level of responsibility in yourself and for others, and a little bit of human qualities and virtues. Like love your neighbor as yourself. Religiously speaking, why would you do something to someone else that you wouldn't want done onto you? That makes kind of sense, and just good common sense, and that's all that's really needed in the world to stop this infiltration of Satan and dark in the world that creates such a mess that we see in this world. So this is encouraging for people, because you don't have to be a spiritual magician or anything like that to prevent Satan consciousness from infiltrating your mind. You just need the basics, and you probably taught it from your parents anyway, and in school education. But there are certain people out there that, need to be more aware of this, and for themselves as well, because it's not good for them in the long run, even though it may seem in the short run it is, but in the long run down the line, they could look back at it and they could say, I made a wrong decision there, and all the rest. So yeah, that video was basically talking about that. I did mention that, OMI6 and FBI and all this will be looking at. They'll be looking into this video now, and they'll be seeing what is this guy up to. Two can play that game. Yeah, that was funny. So you have to see the humor of things as well. But again, it's got to do with the mind, and it's really basically what I talked about in those 4 videos of Satan, of how it works and how he rules humanity, is basically how the mind is infiltrated, by that other side of duality, which is, the dark side or the wrong side of duality. In a nutshell, it's basically what I described. Now, when I use the terms, some religious terms in it as well, it may convolute, or people may start to question things a little bit and all the rest. So ignore that. Debate in your own mind. But really, what it was supposed to get to was this side of duality that infiltrates and gets into our mind and messes us up. And I even touched on a bit of our vibration, our frequency that we're at. We all know that when we're in a low vibration or a low frequency, we do have thoughts. Negative thoughts they come much easier to us, don't they? They just sprout up, and we feel ourselves much more vulnerable or weaker to these thoughts when they come up. And these could be very emotional thoughts of self-shame, guilt, blaming yourself, for instance, fear, for instance. And when we're in this low frequency, we have those thoughts that come up, and you could really say that is the start of Satan temptation within us, that's trying to hurt us, from that point of view as well, where they come into our mind as a thought, and we identify with them as a thought, and we put energy into the thought, and then our mind actually believes it, because our mind doesn't know reality. If we think something is true and we identify with it strongly enough and put our attention into it, our mind can actually believe in it, and that can actually the mind can actually realize it and actually manifest it as well, which is a source of suffering as well, that that side of duality or Satan, which I described as an egos, can hurt us and make us suffer in our mind. But if we have the power of spirituality, and even if we just have a good upright living, don't be over drinking and overindulging in desirable things, and we can actually we can reduce that low level frequency, so we don't have those negative thoughts that come so easily into our mind when we're unconscious. So it's like when we are in that low frequency state, we're unconscious and we're vulnerable and we're weak, and our mind is very we can definitely get dark thoughts come through our mind, and I've experienced that myself. If I feel moody, I feel down, I feel that I do get attacked by emotional thoughts sometimes, and things that maybe happened in the past or even things in the future. But of course, this is a mind game. This is an illusion, or it's called Maya. It's relative. It's actually not real. It's not actually true. So that in itself means that Satan, or that side of duality, is not true. But it does come to us as a form of a temptation, doesn't it? Or a form of desire, or a form of a negative thought that when itself hurts us, for instance. So if the mind identifies with that, thought, that satanic thought, for instance, of more greed, more money, more power, more dominance, we can actually realize Satan. We can become a satanic person. Um, when we identify, when we put all our energy and time and effort and attention into it, absolutely, anyone can turn into a terrible person to other people. And we set the warnings to this: if they become someone in our our systems, in our authorities, or in our government systems, or in our justice systems, for instance, or even in religion itself, that's a very dangerous infiltration of humanity. When a certain type of person like that infiltrates a position of power and influence, that's when humanity really needs to be very aware of this, that it's a possibility, and it has happened in the past. I'm not going to name names and go through the whole world's history. All you have to do is pick up a history book and you can read all about it. But it explains a lot, but it's only the tip of the iceberg. It's not really a subject that I can really talk much on, or go into. Otherwise, I'll be just kind of chatting about it and give my own ideas about it and all the rest. But it's hugely debatable. People can talk about this topic of how Satan works and rules humanity and why these dark things happen, and I think it's a plausible effort and worth mentioning. Of this duality, how it infiltrates our mind, and I've gone through it with spirituality, or just upright living, being conscious, and being humane, that you can reduce, or you can actually stop that infiltration from happening, and even with spirituality itself, you can actually increase your frequency. So you can increase your frequency, right? Because we all know when we're in higher frequency, we're in high vibration, we have less negative thoughts, don't we? Or we don't have any negative thoughts at all. If you're joyful, you're playing out in the garden with your kids, or you're doing a sport and you're winning and you feel great. Is that a time when you're going to have a negative thought about of something that's going to try to hurt you? No. More likely it's going to be a thought of happiness and joy, and giving to others, and experiencing that love and that bliss, and thoughts in a higher frequency are better quality. They're good thoughts. They're thoughts that can make you be realized, fulfilled in your purpose, give you energy. So if something gives you energy, it's good for life, it fulfills you, it's good thoughts, it's compassion, it's joy, it's bliss. Is that an illusion? We would argue it is not an illusion. We would say that is the superior side of duality, which is a truth. The other side is false, is the untruth, Satan, dark. The mind, in that low level frequency, or that has these negative thoughts, for instance, these egos. That is untruth. That is fake. That is illusion. But on the other side, when a person is blissful, joyful, positive thoughts, good to everyone else, living his life the best he can be, doing good things to others, evolving, even becoming realized and liberated. Is that fake? Is that untruth? Definitely not. And that is what humanity is, the golden jewel of humanity, is that side. If we can, concentrate our efforts more on that side, and reduce our efforts on the other side more, understand the other side, how dark works, which I explained in these videos to a basic level, and using the power of spirituality to help come over that, or even just living in an upright manner, being conscious and aware, and having some human dignities is enough in itself. But we can do a lot more in the education system. We can do a lot more, in society. We can do a lot more. The media can do a lot more. Politics can do a lot more. Um, and all the rest. And even the economy, the economy is, it can do a lot more, because, the economy is a strong force in life that does a lot for us, but at the same time, it can be used in a satanic way. More greed, more money, more power, more dominance. It's kind of connected to the old world economy of, want and desire, which is in there. And that's why I've talked about a new economy, the light movement to talk about a new economy, where people, have what they need, but they're not enslaved, all their life to, being stressed out, to be pressured at work by their boss. That's satanic. If you're satanic, if your boss is running you like a slave just to make more profits for the business or the company and treating you unfairly, or treating you with disrespect, or just being basically rude to you, that's satanic. Because that boss is taking more than they need. If I had a business, I would just take whatever I need, to do what I need to do in life. But if you're a boss that say, oh, I'm going to really work, have high production, increase our profits, margins, and all the rest, at what expense? It could be 100 people working in that company, and a lot of them could be be quite miserable for that, and that then hurts. That other has an indirect effect. So that's satanic in a way as well. The best business model would be to be fair, equality, and to be totally flexible, and to not be abusive and all the rest. If I had a business, I would design a business where people would, wake up in the morning and say, I love working for this job. I love my boss. I love this company, because I don't get stressed out there. I don't get abused. I don't get people telling me to do this and that. It's not mechanical. They treat me with dignity, like a human being, with respect. And for that reason, I want to give 110% to that company, and that is the best employee that an employer could want. And an employer where an employee is actually really working for the company, even in a better way than the employer doesn't even know about. You could be thinking about how to improve, the operations of his employment, and how to bring new ideas to the table, how to make it a happier atmosphere. That's how I would run a good business. But we can see, like, in the old world, I refer to the old world, pre-2025, you could say. Most businesses where, have these models of, try to squeeze out maximum, production, and, to make as maximum amount of money as you can. And that doesn't really go very far in serving humanity. That type of economy doesn't really go too far in serving humanity, does it? It creates a lot of stress if people are talking about work, and then that relates to other dark manifestations, so we have to look at the economy too, and we have to say, is it really serving humanity, this old world economy? Okay, we needed it up to a certain point. We didn't have jobs, and we didn't have, homes that were so well equipped and so comfortable today, and we didn't have such great infrastructure that we have now. But humanity has all those things, more or less. There's a lot of poor people surely all over the world that are still suffering and haven't got even good accommodation. For a fact, that's very true, and that's. But that could be from the economy as well. Creating that divide between the rich and the poor, the haves and the have-nots. So a true economy is an economy that would address, both sides, the poor people and the rich people, the haves and the have-nots, but not just separated from, the most intelligent and the most capable workers, they're the ones that succeed because they get the jobs, and that's all. I mean, that's That's a very kind of satanic way of looking at life as well, because you're really just breeding a certain human being just to be successful at this and that, and then you're successful because you make a business and you make loads of money, and that's what we're producing today. That's what the economical engine is producing today, right? Where there might be a person that, says, damn it, you know what, I can't do this job as good as that person, but I'm a real family man, or a stay-at-home mom, or I love life in a different way, or I'm very creative, but I can't make big money. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, I have to suffer. I can't live in a proper accommodation, and I can't even afford certain things in life because the economy made it that way for me. So it's not really fair. It's not very equality. So it could be that's a bit satanic when the economy is like one sided. Oh, more jobs, more money. Do you know? I'm not saying anything wrong with it, but it served us for a while. But if we're focused, if that's only what our economy is focused on, big business and big money, it's satanic, because it's like, it's like a stock trader, you could really say a stock trader, or these traders, these big business banks. I won't name any names. In these big cities, these big skyscrapers, they're basically gambling with our money. They're gambling with the national GDP of the country. They're wiping millions or billions off the stock market every day, and they're playing with our money. So is that satanic? Yes. They don't need billions and billions. If they're doing something great where they're building a space rocket for humanity and they need billions and billions, great, because humanity's getting something out of it. But if they're just creating billions and billions and billions just to line their pockets and their bank accounts and just have a great time for themselves, probably they're not doing much for humanity, and it's probably just going to catch up with them down the line anyway. So that's satanic in both ways, for themselves and for others. So we delved in how this duality works in our economy. And Light Movement talks about a new economy that can, bring back life to the forefront again, quality of life, meaning. Because why does all these dark things happen in society? Suicides, depression, anxiety, drug taking, abuse. These are the hidden things, indirectly or directly. These are the hidden things that come from these satanic things. Like, a dark economy, or a boss, or a person that wants too much power and control in a government or something. This dark infiltration creates this dark manifestation. So you have people that have less than others. People suffer drug abuse, for instance. People commit suicide. So they all stem from satanic abuse, or identified and realizing this this dark side of duality, basically. And where we feel tempted. It starts in the mind, and then we manifest it, we create it. And a lot of our systems, I think, are still ignorant of that. They're not conscious or aware of that, because the human mind, we're animals, really. A lot of us we're still in the brute. We want to be successful, but when our mother and our father are telling you, oh, make money and be successful, have a career, and our education system is saying business, and you're looking at on YouTube how to create billions using your business and all the rest. It's very narrow-sighted when humanity just looks at that as a way of success. But I don't blame people for it, because they don't know, because they haven't been educated by it. Their friends or their parents are telling them it's so. The education system telling them it's so. Society is telling them it's so, and saying, yeah, you're great, you have a successful business, you made loads of money, you're a billionaire, it's brilliant. Fair play to you, well done. They might go home and they might not feel great. They might not feel like, oh wow, I'm successful now. Okay, I have money, but look, I have a car outside, I have a house. What more do I want with all this money? Do you know what I mean? It's not going to really do much for me, is it? So I think a new economy needs to see success in a different way, and not creating this dopamine economy, of advertising to young people and making people want more stuff that they don't need and desire and all the rest. That ain't good business. No, a good business product is one that you don't have to advertise. It's just something that you need, but the amount of stuff that humanity has, the amount of rubbish and waste that we're ripping this planet apart, and polluting the atmosphere that creates, greenhouse gases and all the rest. It's all comes from this satanic infiltration that we make it okay. We normalize it. We say this is good business. This is success. Young people believe this. People believe this. Businessmen believe this. Businesswomen believe this. They say, oh, once I have money, I can have this, and that, and the other. Sure, you can buy material stuff, this, that, and this, the other, and you can have employees and all the rest. But it's not going to bring you true fulfillment or true happiness, or true that which is true success. And if we have an economy that works on that, which true success is basically quality of life, isn't it? A fulfilled life. And I'd even say is a spiritual dimension of realization and liberation as well, evolution of mankind. But we can all enjoy life at different stages. Some people may not be in the frame of being liberated or spiritualized or realized. Okay, it might not be for them. They might be they might want to love and enjoy and be fulfilled with life and have a family and all the rest, which is fantastic and great. So we have to look at that for a new economy to create that structure, and even an economy where people get up in the morning and go, oh, I have something to do. I love this job. I really don't care about the money. As long as I get enough just to have a roof over my head and food on the table, this job fulfills my heart. It means something to me. Whereas in the old economy, you're just working, 9 to 5 and you clock out, and if you're a few minutes late, your boss has a word with you or two, and if you're slowing down your production line, your boss will have a word or two with you, or the profits are going down on these charts, in the conference room, the boss is going to have a word or two with you, and it's all fear, isn't it? It's all stress. It's all pressure. So we need to move away from that type of satanic economy. We need to bring in a new type of economy. So we can use the best parts of the old economy from the old world, and put them into good use for the future. And I think AI would be a big player in that as well. I've talked about AI where sadly I would not want to see AI used to serve the old world economy for to make businesses more money, to for more power and to create more profits and stuff like that. I think if it's used, it should serve humanity, and an economy should serve a good economy should serve humanity as well. You and me, the individual person, for a quality of life that I just described. If it's spiritual or if it's not spiritual, or just having a good life, a good quality life. I think everyone deserves that flexibility and that option. And if we have an economy that is based on that, everyone can fit in. There might be some high earners, great. There might not be some high earners, but they like to spend their time doing other things. Giving people that flexibility. But an economy where money isn't the be all and end all of everything, but an economy where life is the be all and end all, where people are just, they're joyful to go to work, to do something, and they don't have to be oh, you have to do such a long week, 80 hours a week or something. You can do like a couple of days a week if you like, but you treat fairly, you treat with dignity. The boss treats you fairly with dignity, the business, with respect, just like everyone else, and you get enough for what you need, and then people will be happy, and if people want more than that, that's great, they can have a little bit more if they like a little bit more. But just creating a new economy, and Lightmoon described that one where we don't even have to have money in it, because money is kind of satanic in itself. It kind of gets corrupt, doesn't it? But to live in an economy where, you know, where it's money and not money used at the same time is probably a good hybrid system, you know, where you could take something out of the old economy that works and put it in, you know, as using money as a transaction tool, and but at the same time you could still actually live high quality of life, or even a better quality of life than in the old economy, where, you know, you feel like, oh wow, your visions are realized and your dreams come true and you do things and you evolve. But you don't need buckets of money to get there. You know, it's just it's just a lifestyle, the way that economy is engineered to put life first, quality of life first, that serves people. You know, rather than enslaving, you know, the whole planet. You know, to burn up all our burn up the whole planet, and make the greenhouse gases. You know, climate change. We're all yelping about. You know, all over the place. You know, we have to kind of trace ourselves back to, okay, climate change, soil quality, preservation of wildlife, preservation of planet, water preservation, air preservation, all these things, right? What, you know, we have to find out, we have to go down the line and say, okay, what are the things that are attacking these things? And then we could say, okay, the economy is a big player in this, you know, okay, how do we make an economy that's more conscious, you know, more efficient, more responsible to these things, and actually are even good, or even and don't harm these things that are so important to mankind, like our environment, our atmosphere, climate change, soil, you know, our food production, you know, that are essential to life. How do we protect them, preserve them, you know, with a new economy that helps preserve and protect human dignity, human life, human well-being, you know? So a new economy, that, you know, is good to the planet, but is good to mankind, for their well-being, to mankind's well-being, so we don't have these mental health issues going on. You know, we don't have all this dark stuff that comes out of it, but we have a better economy that, you know, addresses the issues of all the current day things that are important to us, like the climate change, and, you know, our soil and our water and our food and our mental health, of course. And if we can have an economy that runs and puts those to the forefront and respects those values, and even improves on them, I would say, you know, for quality of life, and improves on them. And, you know, we don't look at money as the end all and be all of everything. I think we can have a superior world and a superior race of evolution that can be on the cards for humanity, where a lot of this nonsense going on all over the world on YouTubes, and people saying, oh, talking about, you know, all sorts of things, you know, the world is coming to an end and all this kind of stuff, you know, and wars and all the rest. That will reduce a lot of that anxiety in people, you know, and it prevents it from happening in the first place as a side effect anyway. So there's so much good that we can do, when we are aware of this dark, you know, infiltration of the human being, of this untruthful or fake side of duality that's trying to infiltrate our human being, you know, through desire and temptation and all the rest, and just to be aware of it and be more conscious of it. And, you know, I've talked about that, you know, spirituality is one of the best things to do that, but also, you know, just to be a human, a good human, upright living, you know, good values and virtues is good enough too. So it's no brainer then that spirituality, genuine spirituality, is good for the nation. Even if you're an atheist or non-religious person, it's good for the government. Because what does spirituality do? It'll prevent a lot of this dark infiltration, first of all, and it will just and, you know, and that'll prevent a lot of suffering, hugely. Not all, but hugely. We're talking hugely, people. We're talking a massive reduction in stress at work, anxiety, depression, mental health. Huge reductions everywhere. In abuse, in suicide, crime. Huge amounts, huge savings. We're talking massive savings. The medical industry. The hospital. We're talking trillions and trillions of dollars, and that money can then be spent on evolving humanity or really doing something more important with ourselves rather than just, scraping the earth for money. So spirituality is a very good thing, for even, people that don't believe in it, and for government. And I think when we realize that, you know, and we can see it already happening, what spiritual movements do for mankind and stuff, the good things that they do, for instance. They're not profit or anything like that. It's a no-brainer. I think humanity has to say, it's a good thing, because generally, like, a spiritual person, you know, person that wants to, evolve and become, you know, to be loving and to be realized and liberated, and do good for humanity. Generally, um, you know, they don't commit, crime, do they? They don't. They don't do bad things, really. They're not, you know, they're not vulnerable or weak to that side of duality, right? That satanic side of duality. Really, they don't really care about big business. Really don't care of, those things in the world that, the education system has conditioned and brainwashed us with. That way of living, for so long. It's even gone through our ancestors. It's in our DNA at this stage, you could say, you know. But getting back to the point that, I think everyone has to agree, atheists included, that spirituality is a great thing, because normally a spiritual person, there's less crime, they speak the truth more often, they help other people more, they're more compassionate, they're more charitable, all of these virtues and stuff, that just emanates from these people, and they don't ask for anything in return, people have to bow down and say, you know what, yeah, that's the type of person I want to have, in society, that it's not going to mess me around, it's not going to commit crime and all this, and it's not going to have massive mental health issues and problems that hurt other people, and or a person that's susceptible or weak to dark infiltration, or becomes a satanic businessman or whatever, yeah, I think people will say, wow, this is the type of people that we need more of. It's good for society, it's good for them, and they love it. But to deny those spiritual people that by enforcing them, enslaving them into a system, a satanic system, where one size fits all, and they have no time, they have no energy, and their life is just completely devoted to serving this satanic process. I think humanity gets a bad deal for that, and we lose out on a lot of hidden potential as well in great people. So I'm not against business or anything, I'm not against businessmen, I'm not against millionaires or billionaires or anything like that. I was just putting the point across where, we all need a certain amount. It's a small world. We don't need, to take over the whole world, to have that joy in our hearts. Or I don't think you'll ever get that joy in your hearts through that way, but to find that satisfaction, I think humanity can do other things where they'll get a lot more satisfaction and joy, genuine joy, and satisfaction, through this light side of duality, or I can use the God term of duality, Satan, God, a good, bad, but on this other side of duality called the light, we'll call it, of truth, of reality. I think that's the future, of mankind's evolution. And I think if we can, focus, if mankind can focus ourselves on that individually, take that personal responsibility that we all, as a person as well, focus on that to make ourselves a better person. From that, I think if we start from in and stop demanding it outwardly, but we might have great people of influence and power or business. If they did that, I think they would be true businessmen and true leaders of the new world. In politics and justice systems or whatever systems and authorities they are. If there are people that are there, they have that power, the privilege of that influence, and if they use it, intelligently and consciously and wisely for that side of duality, that light side of duality, they are really serving the people, and they're really serving themselves, and I think they are success, and that is a successful person, because they're doing something for humanity, but they're doing it for truth and reality, and that's what we want a new economy to be based on, a new world to be based on, and to kind of say goodbye to that old world, that served us in a brutish way, but we need to step up the game, because humanity has got potential threats on its door now. People are saying about the soil, it's turned into the nutrients is getting weaker as the generations go by, the climate change, world peace, this war, people are afraid of these things. If humanity could start focusing on those things and clean our act up on that, where we have brilliant climate control, our soil is good, we have world peace now, and I believe that AI can go a long way in helping us with that. Imagine we have all those issues addressed, and we have this satanic economy of the old world, addressed, where it creates so much suffering and stressed out people and all the rest. But we have a different hybrid economy that works better for the people, that serves the people better, where it's more equal, more equality and all the rest. I think, wow, humanity is on an upward surge, plus the technology that AI would give us, that'll empower us, and the spirituality along with that, and just higher quality of life. I think humanity's evolution will just blossom. That, my friend, is the new world that the light movement is talking about, and I like to finish it off on this topic of Satan, because I want to offer this supreme hope to people that it's a real possibility now, and we have the tools and technology to do it. Humanity have reached that level. We have reached that crossroads now, and I think people need to say, what can I do to actually make this happen, rather than always sitting on the fence. Be that change that you want to see in the world, and I think slowly but surely that is the best direction for the new world. That is the direction of the light movement, and yeah, it does make a lot of sense, and it'll address a lot of issues that we have. It'll put them to rest, and it'll stop that complaining going on. But it will make give humanity the time then to concentrate on what's important, what's more important. That's real living. That's really evolving. In whatever way it is. Real freedom of our empowerment of individual people, where people are conscious, have such a level of consciousness that we don't have to spend so much money on the mess. In society, because there'll be such a reduction anyway in all the dark manifestation, won't there? That we can free up a lot more of the planet, and help the planet a lot better, and preserve the planet and the wildlife as well, on the planet, and that all ties into our well-being as one, and our well-being as one planet, and that is yeah, that's what I want to finish off on this topic. That duality. There's a good, there's a bad side to duality, but there's also a good side of duality if we can realize it. If humanity will take that path and realize it, or we can stay in, a jittering kind of a phase where we have nots and all the rest, um, which is in the middle, you could say, which is a blend, as well. People could say we're in a blend, maybe we're in a blended world, we're in that transition, possibly so. But if so, we should always keep, moving towards that light, in that direction of truth, of reality. So that's a promise of both sides of what duality can give humanity. It can give us more of a satanic world. Look, we could advance our technology brilliantly. We could be like, the Blade Runner movie. We could all be driving cars, floating cars, and we could all have everything at the tap of our fingertips. But if people are still depressed and so still killing each other, and there's something missing, that's satanic. Even though people might say, oh, look how far we've progressed. We can now build a skyscraper 100 times the size that they are now today. Or we can have a car now that drives all over the planet and floats all over the place. But is a person in that, are they happy? Do you know what I mean? Are they realized? Are they being fulfilled? Is it serving us? Or is Satan, this side of duality, is it really just playing humanity around and messing humanity around? We're kind of stuck, and we think we're going places, but we're not going nowhere really. We're just have great advancement of technology and great advancement of AI, but it's more the same thing, that humanity has been jittering along with all of its evolution. I think we need to break that disconnect from that. Like I've seen videos of the future on YouTube, I think, where it was saying, oh, like we're gonna have all this great technology, and we're gonna be half cyborg and half human being. But like, is it gonna fulfill us? Is it gonna enlighten us? Or are we just gonna be just a lot of people with super high technology walking down the streets, but we're lacking in real life, an experience, and we don't know reality. We don't know truth from untruth. We don't even know anything. That would be a very dark and satanic way that duality could take us down as well. Where we're enslaved to this technology, and then Satan, you could say, is playing humanity and ruling humanity, and that's what I mean by that when I say when Satan is playing with humanity and ruling humanity, because he's pulling the wool over our eyes, hoodwinking us. We can't see ourselves because we don't know the truth, and he's using his workers in society, and people in our systems, and people that are not in the systems. Everyone is infiltrated, or is by this dark satanic force, and that's all they know and that's all they believe, because the education system is shaped like that, business is shaped like that, our justice system is shaped like that. So it's just always shaped in the old world paradigm. So humanity's just giving all its time and its energy to the old world paradigm of more of the same suffering, you could say, but we never can really, get to grips with, true success. So that's the picture I wanted to paint for that side of duality. But I also painted another beautiful picture for the other side of duality, which is the light side. And that is a real, and I would say a stronger possibility than this old world model. And I'd say it's very real and realistic as well, and it can be achieved. And I think we put the time in and effort in now, that our young people now, and our technology that we're coming up with, AI and all the rest, I think we can do a lot of great things in that direction, towards that direction. And we just got to be aware of what do we want, because we have free will, right? And if we know more about how ourselves work and how this duality plays on us, we always want to aim for the truth and the best outcome for humanity and the planet, even the cosmos, and that is the direction that humanity should take, and that, my friends, is the new world that the light movement was talking about. So I want to thank all my dear viewers, wherever you are. I want to wish you best of everything. I love you lots. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you have a good time. I hope you got something from this video. I didn't want to scare people too much about it, but at the same time, I think I felt to be said, rather than, not mentioning it, I think it was good to talk about the dark side, about as a possibility, as a theory of how it happens in the world, but also of the good side as well, and that there's three states. There's that dark satanic world, and then we're in the middle world, which is a transition, which I would say we're in today, and then there's this very bright side, our very bright future as well. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. I'm happy with concluding this video on this affair. Of course, this can be opened up and debated and analysed, and this could be a good grounding, these videos on prevention of dark and infiltration, preventing that, and work towards the light as well. And we can make more videos on how to create a new world, on light, and all the rest. And I think over time the light movement will do more talks on maybe a new world, and give people spiritual tools and practices and wisdom to help that evolve as well. So thanks very much for watching this video. God bless you all. Take care. Until next time, best of luck, good night.